Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janetma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 243. So, a couple episodes ago, it was August already, and now it seems like September so soon. And then I think we can just keep, because life keeps moving on at a pace in which I no longer feel like I can keep up. There could be like, I don't know what October would be. September so soon. October, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a word that means like fast, but starts with an ah sound. Nearly November.
Yeah.
Discreetly December. I don't know.
Discreetly.
I can't think. I'm putting myself on the spot. But my marketing brain. Ellie just the other day had a comment about, like those people that trick people into buying things. And we're like, you mean marketing? And they don't say that they trick people. They say it's marketing. But that's what they're doing. They're tricking people into buying things. And it's like, it's creating demand.
You're just still selling it.
Yeah. But it's not tricking people. People don't say, oh, those tricksters, like... I can't remember what we were talking about. I think it's that new, instead of Greek yogurt, they have like a French yogurt called Oui. It's in a glass container. I've been marketed to, apparently, because I'm dreaming about finding this yogurt and trying it out. Because I do enjoy good Greek yogurt, but I'm interested to see how it's different. How a French yogurt is different than a Greek yogurt.
Okay.
Oui.
Oui. I don't have yogurt anymore.
That's, yeah.
Me and the dairies do not get along.
You're missing out.
That's, I'm sure.
Me and my Chobani flip every day for lunch. A couple of my team members think that I'm sponsored by Chobani. They think that I sit in a big communal area and I eat a Chobani every day because I am sponsored by Chobani. I'm like, are you buying a lot more Chobani now because I'm eating the Chobani flip right in front of you? No, but I do notice that you're always eating one. Same coworker was also at a soccer game where I brought one. So I've been spotted in multiple places eating.
Locations.
I don't know what I would do if I couldn't eat dairy. I mean, knock on wood, but yeah. My lattes, my yogurts.
I gave all that stuff up. I do. I feel better, so
dairy-free
it's
December.
Hard. It's kind of like, like people were like, you're allergic to chocolate, oh my god, and it's like, well, if every time you tasted it you broke out in hives, you wouldn't eat it.
Learned taste aversion.
Yep. Yeah. So I have a taste aversion to dairy.
Because you remember the pain.
Mm-hmm. And it's just those milks and yogurts, and so like I can still handle occasional cheeses. It's just
the other day, I'm a big fan of the Starbucks Cascara latte, and they brought it back cold, but then I inquired and I said, can I get it hot? Because they had it and then it left, and now it's back as this Cascara cold with coconut milk. Mm-hmm. And so I've been getting them, like, substituting in the dairy instead of getting the coconut milk, and Jeremy wasn't aware of that, and so he ordered me one, and I was like, this tastes wrong, like, we need to take it back. And I went up and they were like, oh, this one's with coconut milk instead of like your 2% that you normally get. And I was like, and it just didn't taste right. I need my Cascara latte with my dairy in it. I can't have coconut milk as a substitute.
Yeah, if it's unsweetened too, I mean,
it didn't taste quite right. It was very sweet of him. Don't get me wrong. My husband tried to buy me my favorite coffee. But PSL's coming pretty soon.
Yes.
I know. You're not a big fan of PSL. But it was everywhere.
Yeah.
PSL's coming. So many days until PSL.
Well, see, those of us who don't walk around Starbucks, I don't know. You probably see it more than I do.
It's true. They market to me because I am in that area. Mm-hmm. Bring it back to the marketing. So things are going well with you. We talked about a lot of stuff off air before we started to record, but school, we've had Meet the Teachers recently.
Yep.
Doing anything exciting for the extended weekend? Are you working tomorrow? A lot of people are taking 4-day weekends.
I am working tomorrow.
Okay.
But that's because we took Monday and Tuesday off.
Ooh.
And, let's see.
What are you doing with your Monday and Tuesday?
We took it off. So
previous.
Yeah, we
Got
went
it.
to the Dells. For our annual trip, the 11-year-old seemed kind of over it. Like, we've already done all this stuff. And
Quentin this week. So no school this week, and we don't have any school-age childcare. I'm like, we're just trying to balance things. And he's like, why aren't we going to Myrtle Beach? Like, let's just go. We got the week. And I was like, I think you're downplaying the amount of planning that it took to go to Myrtle Beach, son. Do you realize? No, let's just go. And I'm like, it was airplanes. But to him, it was like, we got a week. Let's go to Myrtle Beach.
yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so, finished, that. Let's see, what else? I don't know. I think I'm more of the stuff that's going on soon. So,
Coming up.
yeah, my anniversary is coming up.
Our anniversary month.
But mine's before yours.
I know.
So.
By 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Always 2 weeks. So I'm glad that you can give me the heads up.
Yeah,
You're like my snooze button. Like, okay, I got 2 more weeks.
Yep. So, yeah.
But not I mean, just a 13-year itch type anniversary. Not a too big of a one, but yeah.
But something that should be acknowledged, I guess. Another year around the calendar.
We made it.
Stuck in there,
Yeah.
And then, get to go judge Granite Games.
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting. This year I am on the field. I am over the moon. So I get to be outside.
I can't remember the actor's name that was on
Seth
Meyers that I sent you the
Schmidt.
clip. Yeah.
Schmidt from New Girl.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Are you going to wear like your workout gear in case they need you to like tap in and you can...
It is true.
Yeah. So you're going to watch people work out. He's like,
Yes.
yes, I'm super excited about it.
I got a real kick out of you sending that to me because it was like, because I was on his side and everybody else was on Seth's side. Like, I don't get it. And he's like, and so you know all the people that are competing in the thing, and he's like, oh, more than I care to admit, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I know
what
names.
they eat. I know what how they prepped for this. I know how they
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's some, you can get into it. Like, there's some up and coming names, like some teens that are 18 now that are going to be. It's going to be their first year next year if they qualify. Kind of thing, and they're ones to watch, and like they're early in their career. They're not the big name yet, but yeah, I know a lot of names too, more than I care to admit. Yeah, I don't know. I was on his side of the thing. I was like, yeah, I mean, duh, why not? This is fun, and I just got a kick out of him getting a kick out of it. Right?
Yeah,
like professing his love for the sport in public. Like, I spent a week in Madison. Why? Because CrossFit Games were there, dude. And it's exciting, and I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Granite Games, they're going to have some big names there, too. The guy who won the CrossFit Games just going to be chilling, hanging out, signing some autographs or something. I don't know.
Cool.
He's sponsored by... some of the sponsors for the Granite Games, so he's going to be there, but not competing. And then there's some big names competing, so I was excited to see those roll through. But I don't know. I'm more excited about being outside and judging, than that per se.
Yeah.
So
hopefully good weather.
Oh, I know. I hope so. Yeah, I get to judge all the outdoor stuff, and then I also get to do the swim, which is a new event. And then since the outdoor events get over early afternoon, I get to pitch in on the floor events, so I don't have to miss anything. I get to see it all. I'm excited. Yeah, and it'll be fun because, every year there's, something different, something new, people to watch that, like, you'll see them, like, in the regionals come, next year because, this was the competition that they were doing because they missed out on the regionals, and, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be there. I convinced somebody else to do it with me, so somebody from my gym is going to be there, and yeah, it'll be fun.
Cool. I booked tickets for Rhinebeck. Planning on front loading and staying in New York City with my brother before the New York Sheep and Wool this year. So if anybody's going, look for me. Yeah. Well, we're doing a book signing at Nitty City in NYC before, so it kind of made sense not to go there and go back. But yeah, and then you can get there early enough to make sure that even if there are bad flights or whatever, that you'll make it there in time for the event, right? If you go early. But I'm excited to see my brother. It's not often as an adult with 3 children under the age of 11 that I get to spend like adult time with my sibling, especially since he lives in New York City, and then when he comes back for like holidays and such, it's family time, right? With my extended family.
He's Uncle Matt, not Brother Matt. Yeah,
exactly. So I always look forward to that. We go and do fun things. Last year we had Ellie with us, and I had a stomach bug, so I'm trying not to remember too much about that. But this year it'll be him and me, and he's got a new puppy, Charlie. So yeah, that he adopted. So I get to meet my nephew. Yeah, my dog nephew. Yeah. But other than that, the other excitement that we've had recently, and I didn't even mention it on Instagram so as not to create undue stress to folks that are dealing with larger issues like their homes being flooded in Houston. But Chaz quit eating, and it started to feel a little bit like with Max when we were trying to lure him into eating, and he was kind of turning his nose up at things. And figured out he had an abscessed tooth. So there was a little drama there with him being older, and they found a heart murmur on whether or not that the anesthesia that they have to put him out to do the teeth cleaning would be life-threatening, I guess. But he pulled through. He's eating like a champ, although I think we're going to have a hard time converting him back to the dry food once it's okay, because they left the incision open because there was so much drainage. Not to be too TMI, but it was really abscessed. But just great to see him go from turning his nose up at food to like begging us for food again, I guess. Because that's how our furry friends tell us that they're in pain and not happy, is they don't eat.
Yep. And he was scurrying.
Yes, he went whoosh. So. And of course he left my lap just in time for me to talk about him. He's probably sitting over there going, I'm going to clean my shoulder. You guys can't see it. He walked over and sat on the arm of the couch, and nope, there he goes. But yes, he is very susceptible to anesthesia, apparently, and painkillers, because he was high as a kite for like a good 16 hours, I think. They wouldn't let me take him home after the procedure because he was like seeing things at the vet. And then we got him home, and he was rolling around, and we were worried that he was going to fall off of things, and his eyes were so big. But he was, who am I to judge him on his... to harsh is mellow or whatever. Not as mellow. Harsh is high. But yes, he's doing much better.
Kill his buzz.
Yes. Who am I to kill his buzz? He's doing much better, and we are thankful for that. They were having a sale at our vet on dental cleanings, and I was like, well, we didn't plan it, but okay, we'll take the 10%. He needed it, or he wasn't going to be eaten anytime soon. But yeah, Can't think of, I mean, we were planning on doing other things and ended up meeting up with my parents at the Living History Farms in Des Moines, which I never did growing up. Jeremy was like, you never went on like a field trip there? Yeah. And I was like, nope, apparently your class ruined it, because he's 5 years older than me but went through the same school system. Like, your class must have been naughty when you went, because they didn't take my class. We went to the Henry Dorley Zoo a lot, because Omaha was really, really close. But yeah, I'm sure growing up near Des Moines, you probably went quite a bit. It was interesting.
Yep. I always liked the blacksmith. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, he did a really good job with, like, Dexter was really interested. Quentin wanted to go to the gift shop, basically. Like, when are we leaving? When can we get out of here? But he showed us a bunch of different horseshoes, and then they had like a horse hoof. They showed that it was standing on the nail, and if the nail gets broken, then it's like standing on your fingertips. Yeah, he did a great job. They must do a good job of keeping good blacksmiths there. So they did the bellows, and yeah, it was super. That was super good. So they have a little town, and then they have farms like throughout the ages, starting in the 1800s, I think.
Don't remember that much detail about it. It's been a while.
There was a woman doing cross stitch, and Quentin walked up and said, I swear I correct him every time he says it, but like, oh mom, she's doing yarning. And I'm like, knitting? You think you're saying knitting, but you're saying yarning. Like the yarning room instead of the dining room, and the, mom, can you yarn me that? But she was actually doing cross stitch, and she was like, yeah, that would have been a more practical thing to do, but today I'm doing like it was a towel or something like that that she was cross stitching. They had gone from sheep to yarn. They had spun it, and yeah, good times. Great oldies. Literally there. It is, people still have a good 41 minutes to submit their self-striping for August, so we did not do that drawing as far as Administrati. How is your blanket going?
It stalled out a little bit, but I did start the new hex.
Okay.
So only have 2 charts left, and I started the second to last chart, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, keep going. I see people out there, and I do want to get stuff. I do want to wrap that up, but it is part of my trying to knit to zero here. I don't think I'm going to get to knit to zero. I think I'll get close to like 4 or 5 projects, and then it'll be like boom.
Yeah.
But
bottle up and explode. Still, all of that cast-on energy.
Yes.
It's being bottled up right now, and it's going.
Yeah, really is. So I have a couple more pairs of socks on the needles, and then I have a bunch of sweaters after this giant shawl. So, like, at some point, I'm just gonna have sweaters left. That's gonna be my problem, I guess.
Just sweaters. Don't you love knitting the sweaters?
I do, but
they are a long,
there's
a long time investment. Duration. There's
yes.
long duration there. Yes.
But I do also have, like, I finished the hat on a hat and mitten set, so I'm going to count that new cast on as a whip, because
it was part of a set.
It was part of a set. So I have that in my back pocket as well, as a thing that, like,
alleviate the pressure a little bit.
Yes.
A little off the top.
It's really. But I'm saving those mittens for a bottle up point, because right now I'm happy to knit on the things. Knitting to Zero is agreeing with me right now.
Okay. You go, girl. We also have the Friendship KAL going on, and Zany Crafts has sent something, but it has not yet arrived.
Okay.
So I'm watching the mail for that, and then I am almost completely, so I have a finished object that I can show you, but I'm almost completely out of wool wash.
Oh, wow.
I didn't buy the Allure wool wash when I said I was going to, and now I'm like, past Megan. Why didn't you hit buy on that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got a big old pumper coming. I'll have to show off my big pump of lure when it gets here, because now future Megan is gonna thank past Megan, because I'm gonna be in wool wash for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do with my daughter only wearing knitted socks, and my husband wearing a pair of knitted socks every day, and myself. We do quite a bit of wool washing in this household. So to have like the industrial pumper one, I think that will agree with our wool wearing lifestyle. I don't know how to say it. I'm marketing again, apparently.
Yeah,
Chicory.
I haven't done much in the way of, like, I recently washed all of my socks. And then a couple of summer sweaters that got worn.
Mm-hmm.
But not any big projects yet. So maybe be interesting.
Excellent. Did you say that you had any FOs?
No, I looked through my Instagram feed and everything. I'm like, did I forget something at home? No, I just didn't finish anything.
You will have an epic child as a measuring stick.
Yes.
Large shawl.
Yes. You will see half of a giant shawl.
Excellent.
Soon.
I finished my husband's SKUs. There is a distinct left and right foot, which I sold to him as like a big benefit. I was like, and you get a left foot and a right foot. My previous pair had 2 left feet. Aren't you lucky? So this was with the Night Owl fibers in the something about Lucky Irish or Irish Lucky self-striper.
That's a Houston dyer.
Yes, yep. So I kind of touched on it before, but yeah, my heart goes out to those folks. We had some water in our basement a couple of years ago because it just rained and rained and rained. And I can remember looking out the window and going, gosh, I just wish it would quit raining, because we were going up and sweeping and wet vacuuming up, just gallons and gallons of water out of our basement. And I don't know if it had something to do with recent water levels or whatever, but like we haven't, knock on wood, had any subsequent issues. But yeah, my heart just goes out to folks that have been evacuated and don't know if their homes are underwater or not, or what they're going to find when they are able to go home. And then it's now Tropical Storm Harvey, right? So it's hitting Nashville, and yeah, so much water.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much water.
Yeah.
And
just a lot of it. And it moves so fast once you have so much of it, right?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, it seems like it's okay, but then when they try to do some leveling, then certain things can flood.
Like, they have levees and dams and stuff that they try to talking about alleviating pressure, right? But yeah, you had kind of laid out some of the, on Instagram, some of the dyers that you were, some Houston-based dyers, and there's a lot of designers out there that are Houston-based designers that people are doing fundraisers for hurricane relief. So
I even saw somebody who was doing stash replacement stuff, gathering donations for stash replace. So like if you had a house and you lost your entire stash, like what would that feel like?
Yeah.
I mean, beyond your possessions, but
yeah, heavy stuff, man. You mentioned and Suburban Stitcher, right? So it was Night Owl and Suburban Stitcher. But he loves these. He put them on, and then he put them in the "You're Going to Podcast About Them" pile because he knows me well. So now he can start wearing them again. It's a super soft base. I enjoyed knitting it a great deal. It's not an MCM. It's just a merino nylon, but it was his big monster feet. It's one of those things where I think his preference would be to have it about as long as the foot, but with the ball, the kind of Jolly Rancher wrapped around ball, I didn't know, I didn't want to risk it, I guess,
right.
as far as running out. So I got to where I had decreased the front and the back to the same amount, and then I unbiased. And he's just going to have to deal with the leg length, I guess. But they fit. He's got do a little zhuzhing, but that is per his preference. So, good. And then I finished my Rhapsody in Cables out of the Post Yarn, which is the Simply Soft Yarn in-house dyed yarn. Super unique construction on this one. So you actually provisionally cast on in the middle front, and then you work out and you work out. If you are like me and you were just eking the amount of yardage out, you kind of get to this back portion. So after you do some shaping here, you're working this part and this part, and then you do the sleeves, and then you do the sleeves. And I think I got a little carried away with the sleeves because I wanted to get all of the decreases in, and then I worked a temporary bind off with some red yarn, and was like, well, if I need the extra yarn, I'll rip it out. And I probably should have just left them like really short, because when you get to the back, you're working this direction, and you're like, oh, I can't make this shorter if because it's a pretty long sweater, especially when it's stretched. But as I mentioned, I haven't been able to block it because I'm running out of wool wash. I can't make it shorter because the front is already done, and you can't even if you decided to I guess you could cut it and steek it. But you wouldn't be able to use that yarn, right? You would only just be able to make the back shorter if you ran out. So I can't remember where. I think I got to the ribbing before I had to start unraveling the sleeves to finish the bottom. And I did a very minimal ribbing at the bottom.
I think that my solution for it would have been to just do a straight back, because
the cables
eat up a lot of yardage, and so you have the interest on the front, but then you could have it just be a nice plain back.
Where were you when I was seriously I know that people say knit faster because you won't run out of yarn, but in my mind it was like the suspense of what was going to happen.
Yeah,
I need to find out if I'm going to have to rip that sleeve out and redo it. And so again, very expedited, very small amount of ribbing around the neckline. The amount of ends that I had to weave in this neckline was just redonkulous because I was using the bind offs end here, and the where I cast on and had extra, I used that, and I literally used every inch of that was left. And then after unwinding these, a similar amount went, okay, I can do ribbing on this one, and then use a little extra to finish the ribbing on this one. But I absolutely love it. I'll put it on. You can tell that green is my color, especially this color green. I think the thing that I find the most interesting is I did alternate skeins because they were two very, it was the same colorway, which was Burn Valley, or Bone Valley, not Burn Valley, Bone Valley, I believe. But it's fun that the stripes are up and down. Normally when you're alternating skeins and you get striping, it's the horizontal, but because of the direction that this was knit, you've got up and down stripes here, and then you've got stripes this way here. It's just fun. I thought that was a fun little piece to it, and I like the sleeve length. I think she had them more 3/4, but as we learned in Amy's class, you kind of want it to point Amy Herzog's class. You kind of want it to point to a point in your body, and I'm more of a rectangle, and I don't have a waist. So it's nice that this kind of implies a waist, I guess, with the sleeve length. And again, I think that this is really going to stretch. Super stretch. I thought I was making it less wide, but it still ended up pretty wide. And again, by the point that I was wishing that it was less wide, it was too late. Because I was in the back. But I super enjoyed the cables. I super enjoyed the construction. And I think I'm going to enjoy wearing it. Once I get it all blocked up, you will see some FO pictures.
Yeah, there's fall hohi knit along or something.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a pattern and some yarn that could go to that fall knit along, but knit to zero.
Yep.
Knit to zero.
So this I'm calling a Friendship Cal, or K-A-L entry, because as we mentioned last time we recorded, Mason Bee has a really pretty one of these colors. As well as I'm pretty sure I'm gonna wear it to Rhinebeck. So that's where I'm gonna see some friends too. Exciting, exciting. Yeah, I was kind of sad to see that be done. You ever get to an end of a project and be sad that it's over?
I don't know. I'm usually sad that the fun part's over, because you almost always have to weave in ends and clean it up and make it look nice. So I don't know. And I'm glad when that part's over. So
I hear ya. I don't know. I mean, the product knitter in me hears me say things like that and goes, "That's something a process knitter would say."
yeah.
And you should just be happy that you have a sweater.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun process, I guess. It made me happy too. Hi, Tess. How are you? Yeah?
Talking to her.
Yes, he's a good talker. What's your whip?
So I have socks that were on the needles from a while back, so I couldn't
Last
use them.
Halloween?
Yeah. I couldn't use them for the DVD month sock club thing. So I am just gonna go ahead and try and finish those for this Halloween.
Super fun.
So that's
just
the
plain
one sock. Yep. Just a plain top down grok the sock situation there. And then
we knew it wasn't a skew because you're never knitting another pair of those.
It's going to be a long time before that even crosses my mind again. So, like I had mentioned, I finished the last of the one chart here, and so now I just have 6 left, which means that I have the back half of the year to finish.
Here to June, man.
Yeah. So June would be, I'm done. So July, August, and September soon. So I'm only 2 behind. And so there is the start of that last chart. It's similar colors to the last one, so I don't know how exciting it's going to be, but it does kind of add some blue. Yeah. So anyway, excited to get closer on that project, although I do have a lot of these hexes to block, so I think that that's going to be a minor project. Just make sure I go and block those for part of the thing. But I have the shade shift that I have been working on. So this is the middle, right here. So this is the middle, and you can see it's already a fully grown shawl.
It's a giant.
So it's going to be quite the giant when it gets done. It's 5 skeins of yarn. I ran out of the blue, and had to rely on the kindness of strangers out on Ravelry, and somebody is sending me a de-stash skein. So thank you very much to them, and I will be able to put that color to rest and move on to the other part. So basically I'm back to the V part right now, so I get to do all of this. And that feels like not much after getting through that middle. So, yeah, that is the middle.
Crazy.
Right there, that is the middle. But yeah, I like how it's turning out. It's going to be a shawl blanket when it's done. But I don't know, it was fun. Still fun.
Well, when we did the shawls, Mary Kiss Kill, you said you liked them big.
Do. So I'm excited to get through this one color and then just start. I don't know, I felt like this first part was really exciting, and then the middle part, once I figured out what was going on, it got less exciting. And then now I'm back to that I don't know, just, ooh, I'm getting close to another color. Oh yeah, I'm going to finish this color. Oh, and another color. You know, the kind of thing that keeps you going to the end. So, I am ready. I saw a few other people make modifications to what colors went where so that they could eke it out with not buying another skein. Or at least that's my assumption.
Oh, so you went through a whole full skein of that blue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a smaller yardage skein, so like, but I'm not even certain that even if I had like something that was 460, I would have even made it. You know, like I'd still think I'd be running on fumes. So knowing that there's a good chunk left, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that extra skein and from T-Stash and make sure that I can finish it.
Care to mention any of the yarns?
Sure. The green is Leading Men Fiber Arts. I can't quite remember the name of that one. It's like Spirit something, something like that. And then I have a Australian Solar Flare.
Super pretty.
And then this one here is a Marigold Jen.
Lots of friends in that shawl.
Yeah. And then this sparkly one is Mary Gale from Spartacus Dyes. And then the blue was the least exciting one. It was from String Theory that I had gotten from the BU.
Okay.
Many moons ago.
Did it come with a kit or something, or you just picked it
out? It might have been a club or a kit. It could have been a club yarn. I don't quite remember. And hopefully the one that I'm getting in the mail matches closely or looks good.
Is there another like blending section, or it just ends after this section?
No, I mean it goes back and does this again.
Okay.
So I have unbiased, see? I'm rebiasing.
Yep.
So I am finished rebiasing and I'm in this section.
I'm just saying, are you going to end up starting the new skein in a new section, or is it going to be juxtaposed with an existing section?
Oh, I see. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to probably just stop knitting and try to blend it in. But you're right. It could be that it'll end up naturally in this section here where
and then you wouldn't see it as much.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. But again, there's enough of it missing. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 16 rows of and long rows at that. So it'll be on its way to me, and I can finish my shawl. Excellent. But yeah, that was a lot of knitting.
It has grown quite a bit.
It's a big shawl.
It's a grown-up shawl now.
It's no longer a baby.
All grown up.
But that's all I had.
Okay.
That's active, right? Because I'm keeping it to the the active ones that are coming down off of the list?
I am currently knitting in avoidance of designing.
Okay.
Have the book baby.
Yep.
And have some more designing that I need to do. But I'm enjoying knitting other people's designs currently and haven't been able to do that in a while. So, you know, did that sweater, kind of got my sweater mojo going. And with our very generous ZK coupon, I bought this Leading Men Fiber Arts ground pepper kit. It's by Suvi Simola. I don't know. And mine's a little bit different. Hers, as it's knit up for the sample of the book, very simple sweater, just, you know, stockinette, no kind of texture or anything. The yarn is what makes it interesting. And hers has like the gradient where it's just speckled, the intensity of the speckles. So at the top most, that's very intense speckling, and then down towards the bottom it's less speckling. And mine is more of a gradient of the blue. So that's the ground pepper. It's a classic V-neck sweater. So yeah, I am now on you just saw me transition to the 5th color of blue. So started off kind of at this light, and it's funny, I now realize, I've got leaves in here because I took a picture of the grass, how we trick ourselves when we're knitting things and we transition in between skeins that they match. Because now I'm having the opposite happen. Like the first few rows, I'm like, this is blending. You're not seeing the line. And it's only until you get like a couple of rows down that you're like, oh, there's the line.
Yeah.
Like, and when it's just a few rows, it doesn't, for some reason, your mind blends them.
Okay.
So yeah, there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I've started on the 5. She had these being thinner, but I'm kind of a longer torsoed gal, so when you stretch this out, I like mine to hit a little farther down on me. So super love this callback base. I think I've bought so much of their sport, and I don't know that I've ever knit with it.
Oh, okay.
It's a really nice base.
I like that base.
It's
I believe I've mentioned it as one of my favorites.
You have. But a woman has to find out these things for herself. She can't just have her friend tell her. Okay. Because then I go, Amy also buys that crunchy yarn, and she does something with it too.
I do.
She bought that steel yarn, and she loved that too. So no, I jest, but yes, you have mentioned multiple times that you do enjoy their callback base, and I think this is the first time that I've knit anything with their callback base, and I've been like, this is an enjoyable knit. And so I'm kind of excited about the sleeves because I get to recreate this gradients in the sleeves. And I'm now to the point where I'm just going to be doing a few more inches and then some ribbing. So they had a lot of fun kits out there. I know that a lot of them are the more speckly intensity gradients versus the color gradients, but I'm really digging these sleeves. I'm digging them, man. Really fun kind of chain increase looking on the ragland there, with a lifted increase there, that are right next to each other, but it's a super pretty. And I don't know that I mentioned it when I was talking about my my Rhapsody cables, but whenever somebody well, I say that because I used the same red. And people commented on the bright red yarn that was in the middle. My husband did, and then on Instagram commented that the bright red yarn. But I always do a provisional cast off now instead of just putting the yarn on, or just putting the stitches on spare yarn, because I find that it holds them. They get less when you're jostling stitches about, like when you set them aside for sleeves and then are doing other things. A lot of slack gets worked into those stitches, if you've ever noticed, and if you just put it on another line, they can continue to be jostled about, but when you provisionally bind off like this, which is just using a spare yarn and binding off with that spare yarn, and then when I go to do the sleeves, I will just tink, basically, just go and free up those free stitches and put them back on. I think it maintains the integrity of those stitches a lot better, so I always provisionally bind off now. So when Hohi had you provisionally bind off on or had you set the stitches aside for those side panels before I 3-needle bound off, combined them together. Oh goodness, I just saw a drop stitch. Ooh.
And you have no extra yarn.
I have no extra yarn. That'll be interesting. I could probably just pull it to the back and tack it down. Yep. But anyway, all of that aside, I'm glad that I noticed it before I washed it, because that cable would have went and would have been hard to recreate. I always provisionally bind off stitches, which is probably what I did there. Probably freed it up when I undid my provisional bind off
and freed it for real.
Did not trap it back down. But yeah, this is going to be another sweater that I hope to wear at Rhinebeck. Oh, yes, super fun, super enjoying it. And that is my one and only work in progress. I have a sock blank sock that I hope to cast on as purse knitting as this becomes either less exciting or less mobile.
Okay.
One of the two.
Okay.
2 of the 4.
So I just have the one enabling. My 6 months winnings or prizes for the DVD came, and I got a Somebody's Kissing Santa Claus, so it's a Christmas themed zombie colorway. So that was
fun. A surprise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I requested the color.
Okay.
But it coming this week.
Okay, got it. I was like, did you get to pick, or did she grab bags?
Yeah, I think we got to pick, and then the end of the year it's a special one. So, which I'm not going to get, but it's an exclusive special one that everybody gets the same one. I think.
Cool.
Again, I haven't made it to the end, so I'm not 100% sure. But that was it. I have since purchased some yarn that's on its way to me, and it's Halloween themed. Must have gotten me with those fall Halloween goodies. So, yeah.
I have wool wash on its way.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
With the pump.
With the pump. Oh, the pump is the selling point. How many pumps does it take to wash a sweater? We'll find out.
Hopefully have one.
We'll find out. But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying feeling like I'm knitting down some of my sweater quantities, I guess.
Yeah, and then not having the stress of designing anything.
Well, I have the guilt of not designing things as I'm stresslessly knitting my...
Potato.
Yes. Always with the guilts. Why do we guilt ourselves about our crafts? Yeah. It's supposed to be our, relaxation and all.
Yeah. Why do we guilt ourselves about anything we choose to do?
I know. Sounds like a you choose to do that type situation, right?
Yeah. You're making yourself unhappy.
I choose to be happy. I choose happiness.
Yep. We can... Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes you can tell yourself something, and sometimes your self tells you back.
Bye.
Bye, Yuta.